The only way you're going to own it is if you understand how important it is and you make a commitment to do it. Your success belongs to you. And to help drive that point home, in talking about the success of his team and his student athletes, I'd like to introduce the head coach of the Hartford Hawks baseball team, Justin Blood.
Thank you very much. I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to come and talk to you guys today. I'm pleased to get the opportunity because I spend about 250 some odd days of the year in sweatpants and gym shorts, so I'm coming to speak to a bunch of kids about the business world. But I can tell you that the success starts with you. Even though I'm a baseball coach, I do run an organization though. And I may spend a lot of time in gym shorts and sweatpants. I feel very, very confident that I could go into any workplace in the country or potentially even the world, and I could fit in. I could fit in, I could find my niche, I could find my way, I could be very, very, very successful. Okay, and all of it comes from what Dean Roth was just mentioning, and I'm going to dive into a little bit more here. It starts with you, but it also ends with you. Okay? Starts or ends. And we talk to our athletes about that a lot. I'm a coach, okay? I sit down, I tell our student athletes, if you do what you're supposed to do in the classroom, you keep your nose clean off the field, you're doing what you're supposed to do out in the community, socially, then I will be able to get you better. I will have plenty of time, you will have plenty of time for me and my coaching staff to get you better. But if you're not taking care of those other things, I can't work with you. You don't go to your tutor sessions, you don't go to your classes, you're getting in trouble off the field, you're not highly motivated, you're not going to work with me. Okay, so I can't get you better if you aren't doing all the other pieces outside of in our community, in our small community. So it starts with you, but it also ends with you. As much as you can help yourself, you can hurt yourself. Determining factors in that. I was just mentioning to a few of the professors outside, my very first meeting here with our team, a team that was 6-43 the year before we got here, had a meeting in a room a little bit smaller than this. All the kids come in, and it's their first opportunity to meet me and my staff. And no different than the first opportunity for you guys to get a chance to connect with alums, meet Dean Roth, meet your professors. And I walked away from that first meeting feeling terrible about what we had. And I probably should have known, walking into a 6-43 program, that we weren't going to have the pieces in place that we wanted or needed. But just by how they entered the room, their appearance, for me, energy is a big thing. And I know for your generation, you can walk around this campus and I see kids with hoodies on all the time, and they look like the world's beating them down. They look like it's 9 o'clock in the morning, they look like they just had the worst day already. Okay, the hoodie's over, they got the slouch going. That's not me. That's not what I want to see. I want people walking around confidently with their chest puffed out, good posture, energetic. And these kids walked into the room and it was just like all the air that I had in there deflated. And I knew we had a lot of work to do. And that's no different than when you walk into a classroom setting, you walk into an interview, just the simple way that you enter the room, not just appearance, but your energy and your first interaction. You got about 30 seconds to make one impression, and then you got maybe another couple minutes after that to either write that impression or strengthen that impression. Okay? And then that's just energy, all energy. And for me, energy comes from your drive. And we talk a lot about dreaming, okay? And this stuff I can talk with my 6-year-old and 5-year-old, but it applies to all of us, okay? Keep it simple. If I dream it, okay, I want to dream big. I don't ever want to try to go too low. I'm going to dream as big as I possibly can, okay? I'm dreaming big. I got to believe it too. I meet plenty of kids that come in here, baseball players, students, doesn't matter what you are. You can dream. It's easy to dream big, but do you believe it? Do you believe the words that are coming out of your mouth? And people who are intelligent, people who have been around the block a little bit and met a lot of people out there, successful and unsuccessful, they can smell it when you don't believe it. Okay? They know you're a fake. It's very, very easy to figure out. And then dreaming it and believing it is not, that's just the start. Okay, then you actually have to put the work in. You got to put the work in to go out and achieve it. All right, so there's at least, those are 4 big things right there, but they're pretty simple principles to apply to your daily routine. Effort with direction. And these guys hear this at practice all the time. And I think this is where baseball is a great example of this. I also know plenty of people out there that they've got great effort. Okay, they're going 110 miles an hour all the time, and that's good. But if they don't have any direction, then all they're doing is going crazy, spinning their wheels, and they're not actually accomplishing anything. Okay, so taking in the information. Okay, that's another big slogan phrase that our guys hear a lot. Take in information and then apply it. All right, so energy and effort with direction. All right, so know what you're doing with that information, how you're applying it to be successful. And then you have to be a good self-evaluator. You have to be a good but not just in sport and life. Know what your strengths are, know what your weaknesses are, work your tail off to try to improve those weaknesses, and you got to also work really hard to leverage your strengths. Okay, and one example of that for baseball, for a simple sport, is I think more so than maybe any other sport, when you watch a baseball game, you can see small, fast guys, big, powerful guys, tall, lanky, skinny guys. You know, there's all sorts of physical frames that you see, and they all have different strengths and weaknesses. You know, I think of Randy Johnson. Some of you, I may be dating myself. Randy Johnson wasn't even playing probably by the time some of you were in high school, but Randy Johnson was a big 6'10" left-handed pitcher. Threw about 95, 96, 97, sometimes harder. Great stuff. He imposed fear on batters that came into the box. He was successful, very successful. Jamie Moyer was another left-handed pitcher around the same time who I got a chance to meet when I was with the Mariners. He was about 5'10", 155, 165 pounds, and he was very, very successful till he was 42, 43 years old in the big leagues. Completely different stuff. Was 82, 83. You know, didn't throw hard, had no fear. There was no way he was going to strike fear in you, but he was going to get you out. He was leveraging his strengths. He knew what he did well, and he made sure that he was improving on those things, eliminating his strengths, eliminating his weaknesses, but he knew what those strengths were, and he attacked your weaknesses with his strengths. Now, another thing that I hear a lot in getting a chance to meet our alums and go out into the community. We're involved in the community a lot, and I get a chance to meet a lot of business people out there, and they love athletes. Now, there's a lot of people in here who are not athletes. Okay, why do you think they love athletes? Somebody just guess. Okay, you're listening to what I'm saying. That's good.
Team player.
What do you got?
Team player.
Team player.
The mindset.
Mindset. What's in the mindset?
Motivation.
Competitive.
Discipline.
Discipline. There's a lot of qualities. Okay, there's a lot of qualities. Competitiveness, drive, discipline. All those things that coaches spend a good majority of our time trying to drive home with our kids. But if you're not, I know plenty of people out there who are not Division I, II, or III student athletes that have those same qualities. You have to find ways to compete. These guys, if they don't go to class, we have problems. You may go to class and there might not be anyone there watching over your back. There might not be anyone who is going to ensure that you're going to class, ensure that you're doing all of your work, getting your papers prepared, reading over them. You know, there might not be a single person who's in place to force you to work at the highest level you possibly can. So you have to motivate yourself. You have to catch up and be as competitive as you can with yourself, essentially. Compete against yourself. And we talk to our guys a lot about that too. It's a daily competitive attitude, mindset, and it's just a desire to get better. Whether there's someone watching over your shoulder or not. Okay? And you're all capable of that. And I think you're very, very fortunate. I'll tell you, watching that, I don't know if that was that Manziel with the money? in the video, but that, just watching that video and having been a college student, obviously myself, you've got people here who are trying to motivate, they're trying to do all the things that we're talking about. And you should be very, very appreciative of that you have resources in place, you have individuals in place, and people who are creating programs like this to try to give you that little extra nudge to help you out. That's not going to happen all the time. There's going to come a time where you're handed the keys and you got to do it on your own. You got people helping you right now. Take advantage of that and be very, very appreciative of that. There was another phrase that we talked about when I first got here, and it was expect more. Okay, and it encompasses everything I just talked about. Expect more. Somebody give me a guess of what expect more might mean. Come on, somebody, anybody. Expect more of who? Expect more of who else? Everyone around you, as in classmates? How about professors? Okay? Expect more. We told our kids, expect more. Expect more out of yourself. Expect more out of your teammates. Expect more out of your coaches. And we also have another phrase. There's a lot of phrases in athletics. No one's safe. Okay? If I'm not doing my job, I want one of my players to come up and discuss it with me and say, Coach, I don't think we're working enough here, or guys aren't understanding what you want them to do here. I want them to communicate that to me. If you feel that way about a professor, you respectfully can have that conversation. But the other part that we tell our players is that they better be taking care of all of their stuff to be in a position to have that conversation. If you're being a leader and you're handling all your business and you're ahead of your work and you're have that energy, have that effort, have that drive, and then your professor will, I can guarantee you, would not mind sitting down and having a real conversation about what you think may or may not be working for you with them, or maybe your entire class. It's communication. Okay, and at the end of the day, the people who communicate the best are the ones who succeed. Most, not always. None of this is absolutes, I'll tell you that too. When you get old enough, you learn there's no absolutes out there. But I think the expect more phrase is you have got to be doing all the work that is expected of you, and then be a leader and try to affect the people around you. And then your leadership, expect more out of them. Okay, there's nothing wrong with expecting more out of them, not at all. Anyone here have an idea of what extra work means? Extra work. Basketball, you guys do extra work? Soccer, you guys do extra work? What other athletes we have in here? Tennis, you guys do extra work? Cross, what's extra work?
It's like doing more than what's required of you after practice, before practice, when you have free time.
That's another thing that you can take from athletics and apply to yourself. Okay? If you're not a student, we tell our kids, I cannot spend enough time with them to get them as good as we need them to be. If they want to reach their highest potential, they're going to have to do work on their own. That's no different for every other student here. If you're going to reach your highest potential, when you walk out the classroom, the day is not done. Okay, you finish your classes at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you either shut it down, play some Halo or whatever the heck you guys are playing now, or shut off, or plug in your iPhones or whatever for the next 6 hours and kind of shut off from the world, or you put in a little more extra work. Okay, turn on CNN, turn on Fox News, turn on whatever. You guys you're hoping to be in the business world. You might want to go out there or look into what is out there to gather information, things that might give you an edge. Because that's what these kids have to do to get on the field. They have to try to find a way to get an edge. And that goes back to your strengths and weaknesses and leveraging your strengths. Okay, if you don't expect more out of yourself, you don't put in extra work, you'll never figure out what your true strengths are. And then that is how you gain the confidence to step on the mound, step to the tee, step to the free throw line, or walking into an interview. You'll feel so much better about yourself and so confident, and you're gonna know that you're gonna be successful. You know that you're gonna be successful. And I think some of these points that we talked about here, these are just daily routines, daily expectations of yourself that are very, very simple to implement. And it just takes a little extra effort on your part. And I think if you can do that, you will more than put yourself on the track of success, and you definitely have the right people in place here to help you along the way. And again, it's that communication back and forth. You're doing what you're supposed to do, what's required of you, and above and beyond. There's no problem with asking the people around you to do what's expected of them and go above and beyond. That's how we all get better. All right? Questions?
Wow, huh?